Sounds good.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, I'm back.
You're back. Welcome to Conspi-Reality.
Woo
Our, our,
woo.
our temporary but also permanent guest, Kate, is back today.
I will pinch hit whenever you need me to.
So we're filming this right after, kind of a couple days after April Fool's, which the one thing I wanted to tell you is I should not be allowed on social media during April Fool's because I fell for every April Fool's social media post possible. And they were all about Bravo, Kate. And I almost texted you each one. Oh my God, this is happening. And it
Oh
was
my
all
God,
April
I
Fool's.
don't think I went on social media on April 1st, which I would have fallen for the same. What was your favorite one?
The Kyle is leaving Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I was like, oh my gosh. And it says
Oh, they
April 1st.
got you.
And then I think there was one which I was going to talk about like confidently today as the like Bravo in the headlines, which is that the original cast of Vanderpump Rules is coming back to do like a trip together, and they were going to film the trip. But again, April Fools.
All of it's April Fools. Well, what?
Yeah.
We don't even know what to believe anymore, especially because with Instagram, I feel like you get served stuff from like days ago. And so what if they serve it to me today?
I know. I totally agree. And then it says April Fools, but like at the very bottom. So if you're
Right.
going quick like me or late at night, you know, you missed it.
But that's okay. We're recording. And so we have 2 summer houses.
2 summer
And
houses, one a Southern Charm reunion, and then Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So if you are watching the second Southern Charm reunion, we are not covering that today. That's being filmed tonight.
oh, that's tonight.
So let's jump right in. Summer House is first. So this pirate party, I mean, it's literally taken us 2-3 episodes at this point. I'm like, I love the pirate party because it takes me back to my college days, but also like there's a lot going on here.
Lauren, I literally thought like I was like, no, I've already seen this episode. And I kept like trying to look for the new one. And I was like, oh no, we're still at the pirate
We're
party.
still at the
Okay, we're
pirate party.
still there. Yeah.
Still there. So we started right away with Craig and Paige. They're wrapping up their conversation in that boat. I mean, Craig, to me, continues to just be really unimpressive in terms of picking up on the signals that Paige is sending him. There's nothing new that came out during this conversation. And just validates yet again that they're just really not on the same page at all.
Unintended.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Not on the same page at all. And I feel like she's like actually getting mad at him a little bit during this conversation.
Yeah, it's a very revealing episode. Like if they
Yes.
hadn't already broken up, I think everyone would be like, oh, this is not going well. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they would be red flags. He is not picking up on anything. And like even he does like the after show with Andy. And like he even still was saying, I was totally blindsided. I thought we were great. She said she wanted to move. She said she wanted to have kids. And I was like, I don't know. I think you're missing a lot of the signs. Like her being very pissed at you at the pirate party. You could see the ick on her face, like when they're in the bedroom and he goes for a hug and she like actually sort of looks at the camera. I feel like he must like the idea of her and not actually her. Because like if you think about everything he wants like the white picket fence in South Carolina. Like I think he just wants a different person that's like so the opposite of Paige.
100% agree. And did you hear he's now dating someone new?
Yes, already. But I tried to something, and her name is like Buffett, but she's not related to Warren Buffett.
Or Jimmy
Oh, I think
Buffett?
that's the one April Fool's joke that actually got me is that she was Warren Buffett's daughter, but it
So
wasn't
her
true.
name's Natalie. But
Yeah.
the big thing that I'm seeing is that she's 27, he's 36. So keep in mind that's almost a 10-year age difference. She's dated a lot of, she's dated NFL player, MLB player. She's dated like professional athletes. So think in your mind, Kate, of dating a professional athlete and then dating Craig.
It's very different.
Very different. And also the professional athletes to me give off like manly men vibes. And Craig is more emotional than Paige. So I don't think that's gonna work, to be honest with you.
No, I mean, we'll see. It sounds like when he did the after show after the reunion, he was talking to Andy about her or not using her name, but being like, everything happens for a reason. Does this
Yeah.
man like think he's in love?
So Dumois messaged that she was in the audience that watch what happens live. So
Yeah.
I knew that watching that show, and I
Oh,
went
okay.
back and watched it. And you can tell he's trying to curtail his answers so that he doesn't make her mad, as well as he can kind of take the revenge he needs to on Paige. Which once you know that, you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this kid is such a little like, you know,
He's kind
irritating.
of, I mean, we're not talking about the reunion right now, but he's kind of a little petty bitch. Like he's like a mean girl.
I agree. And so the big quote on his Watch What Happens Live that I wrote down is that he basically says he asks America to not do what Paige's friends are doing, which is Kyle, Amanda, Sierra, and like talking like meanly about him. He asks America to be better than that. And I would encourage America never to do that. I was like, oh my God, the biggest eye roll in my life hearing
Like
him say that.
the biggest. I don't know who he thinks he is or like what reality he's living in. And I now feel bad. Like, how did him and Paige ever get along? Like I thought it was always like, you know, opposites attract, but he just like the fact that he went from loving her to kind of being so rude is very shocking.
I
Or maybe
know.
we should have seen it coming.
And I also feel bad for Paige. Like I was thinking about this today. She's had some of her biggest career moments this year. Like the biggest things you could possibly want for a reality TV star she's had. I think bigger than Ariana, by the way, from Vanderpump and some
Oh
of her
yeah.
success.
Oh,
And
for
the
sure.
only thing people can talk about for Paige is the fact that she's breaking up with Craig. Like, poor girl.
She is killing it, and he like just didn't want to be his ego couldn't handle that. And even like
Right.
his ego couldn't handle it for like 6 months. You know, like this tour wasn't gonna last forever. And he's like,
I-
"You're going on tour. Where do I fit into that?" And she's like, "I don't fucking know. I'm focused on going on tour. Like, leave me alone." If the roles were switched, I don't think a woman she would have never even said that. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
no, she would have been like, "I'm so happy for you. I'll come when I can." Yeah, he's still giving spoiled brat. He has like a cult following. So there's some people who are never going to see the wrong that he did. And to be honest, before their breakup, I loved Craig. Like I was a Craig fangirl, but now I'm just seeing
Now
all
you
the ugly
can't.
sides.
So, did we talk about this last time that like Facebook loves Craig and Instagram loves Paige? Isn't that
Oh,
crazy?
because old people like Craig?
Yes, like all the boy moms who are like the older group, like
Yeah.
really fight hard for Craig on Instagram. And then if you go to, I'm sorry, on Facebook, and then if you go to Instagram, all the like women of the world are like in the Instagram comments being like, yeah, girl power. I think it's
Yeah.
so funny to like watch the two.
Yeah. He can't go up against Paige. She's too powerful.
No, she'll win in the end. She'll win in the
Yeah, and
end.
I like that she actually said, I think it was in the second episode that we're covering, she said, "I'm the breadwinner."
Okay, so let's move to another girl. Speaking of girls, Lil and Carl at the pirate party. So we get a little more of her, and then we also get more of her at his soft lunch. She's like massive rebound, like for him. I don't think they're together anymore. Do you think?
I don't think they're together. She's just such a different archetype than like
Yes.
everything he's ever dated. But like you would think that would have happened like 9 months ago, not a year after his breakup.
And he's like trying to hard launch their relationship by like taking photos at the pirate party. I'm like, oh my God, guy. And the reason why he says probably later on, right in the next episode, he goes, "I really like her because she really likes me, and I just want to like live in that energy for
He
a
just like
minute."
wants someone. I mean, he did have like his hands full with Lindsay, and she just seems accommodating. What is her vibe though? I okay, first of all, did you notice her parents picked her up from the party?
Yes.
Like makes all of her own clothing.
Yeah. But
So
mace is a strong word, Kate. She safety pinned it together. Like that's a strong word.
yeah, okay, I doubt this is accurate at all, but it is giving like she grew up wealthy, but is like trying to be different. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, oh, I do
Yes.
yoga and I safety pin my clothes together, but my mom and dad still pick me up from parties in the Hamptons, which means her
Right.
parents were also in the Hamptons. Do you know
Sure.
what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
they're
Yeah.
like come
I
from New
agree.
York to pick her up.
Yeah.
So
I
I
agree.
don't know. I don't know what her vibe is. I tried to figure it out on Instagram and I couldn't.
No,
There's
I've
not
never even looked. Now she did post, I sent you this today, and just skipping ahead for a minute. So she is trying to defend herself between the Carl and Lindsay drama that's coming about, right? She's trying to show the receipts that she slid into Carl's DMs well past their breakup in October. They broke up, I think, in August. She didn't slide it until October. So, and she posted that conversation. So she's trying to defend herself, which unfortunately in this day and age, trying to defend yourself probably makes it worse, you know. Poor girl is experiencing probably a wave of people in her
yeah.
DMs now because the show is airing now. I think they're not together, right,
I
anymore.
don't think so. I don't think anybody's together anymore from the
No,
show.
no. So I did see on Watch What Happens Live too that Madison and Carl were on, and Madison from Southern Charm said that Sally's into Carl, apparently.
Wait, doesn't is Sally not with anybody right now? What about
I
that
don't think
blonde-haired guy?
I think they broke up, but
Oh,
Sally's
okay.
like just trying to become like the next page in my mind.
She
Like
is. She's trying to be relevant in some sort of fashion. I don't see the appeal of Carl, but I also don't see the appeal of like pretty much anyone in Summer House.
all the men
Yeah,
just need to go.
exactly. I see the appeal of all the women.
Yeah, right. So Also at the pirate party, the other big shoe that drops, right, is Jesse and Sierra. And Jesse basically uses a moment where he's telling Wes, I'm going to go repair this for you with Sierra, to then also confess his feelings, suspiciously while Lexi's not there. I don't know
Yeah.
what you thought on this, but I thought this was toxic as hell.
He's just such a bad boyfriend. I mean, I know they weren't exclusive yet, but he's just like not good at it. And he's like, just, I don't know, maybe he was like panicking and like, oh, I'm going to be in a relationship. I should tell Kira or Sierra, but maybe he's just also like just flirts and he doesn't know how to turn it off. But I do feel like I thought this last year too, that like Jesse and Sierra had a better vibe than Wes and Sierra. I thought that from the beginning. So I would like to see it.
Well, and also Carl thinks he's got a vibe with Sierra. So you and I were I think you and I were hard on Sierra at one point, like, what is Sierra doing? And I have thought about this now pretty intensively. She is carrying a lot of the storyline for a lot of these men. And she has pretty consistently, like, over the seasons with, Austin and
Yeah.
Luke and,
Oh, she's just
Wes.
guaranteeing her stay on Summer House.
Yes, yes. I'm like, this girl's got the show on her back,
I mean, you
but
don't make a lot of money nursing, so like
no,
I mean, this is her ticket. Also, it must be hard. Like she started right after Paige. It must be hard for like the other girls to be like, wait, how come Paige blew up and like we didn't? You know what I mean? Or
yeah,
like, how do we
yeah.
make as much money as Paige does?
And the interesting thing about Jesse and Sierra that I took a big note on is Wes does not seem to care that Jesse did that. So I watched the after show and they are literally watching the scene together. And
Yeah.
Wes makes a face at Jesse, like, but he doesn't say like, well, I didn't know you did that. I thought Jesse was going to get heat for this, Kate. He
Oh, I
doesn't.
don't think so. I think it's like, yeah, Sierra's gorgeous. I wish I had called dibs on her first. I could see that.
Yeah, and by the way, none of the girls can compete either. Like Amanda, Paige, Sierra. Like I
Yeah.
thought they were all gonna like light him up as like a toxic man. No, they're like that's just Jesse.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it wasn't a good thing to do if you're like basically someone's boyfriend. Like that is all grounds for like getting dumped, but but he
Well,
did something even worse than that.
I want your take on this because so this is where that crew always calls themselves girls, girls, right? And Jesse and Lexi were clearly like going to be a thing or were a thing at that point. Now in the after show, those three girls, Paige, Amanda, Sierra, sit there and they kind of say, well, Lexi really kind of forced him into being exclusive. So apparently Lexi gave him, she said, you have to decide by a month if you want to be exclusive with me. And if you don't, then we're not going to like do anything with this. Right. And so all those three girls were kind of like, well, she kind of asked for, this. And so it's okay if he kind of flirts with other girls because she was trying to move so fast. To me, that's where it's like, you're not a girl's girl if you're taking the guy's side who was supposed to be in a relationship with Lexi.
Yeah, although Paige did bring up a good point. She's like, you shouldn't have to force it. Like, you should just be able to do it. Maybe for these Bravo guys, you do have to force it because, like, maybe they just get so much attention. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that they have to be very purposeful about it. It must be
Yeah.
hard. I always think back to that one scene where Kyle and Amanda are fighting. I don't know what season it was, but Kyle's like, I haven't flirted with another girl in a year. And Amanda's like, we've been dating for 3 years. And I was like, yes, exactly. Kyle like thinks he deserves a prize because like he stopped, effing around.
Yeah. Stop like stepping out.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just shocked by all it. Side note on West, by the way, he was in Chicago for St. Patrick's Day, and there was this really odd like viral video that made the rounds where he's at this like well-known bar called Recess in West Loop, and he's standing there, and this girl is like dancing kind of near him, and the girl is clearly trying to make him feel awkward, and so she basically says like she asked Wes to dance, and he said no, you're weird. But what weirdly happens in the video, which is like so odd, is a guy walks past Wes and like pats him on the shoulder. And it was a cocaine handoff, like middle of the video.
Oh, I saw this video and I didn't notice that.
Yes. I was not the one who called it out. There was a content creator who called it out, but like it was like mid video, some guy pats him on the back, but it's a handoff of like a little baggie of cocaine. I was
Oh
like,
my God. He's probably like, get this thing, take it down. What do you
It's like,
do in
"You
that
did not have
scenario?
my permission."
Can you get like, I mean, as long as you don't have the Coke on you anymore, you can't get like arrested, right? But they can't prove it's Coke. He could be like, it was a sugar packet.
Right. Well, you don't see the drugs at all. You
Right.
see
Yeah.
nothing of it. It's just like the guy walked up behind him and kind of patted him on the shoulder.
And then
And
he like put his
he
hand
kind
there.
of, reached up and grabbed it and then, like, brought it down. So
Wow.
anyway, I was like, oh, Wes,
Wes is still messy as hell.
still messy. And even though he's trying so hard to not be this season, you know what I mean?
I know he's being boring.
It's not a
You
good
know what he
look.
brought to this season was kickball, it seems. That's like the
Right.
only thing of value.
Which I feel like that kickball game was super fun. Going back to the pirate party. So the one quick thing I want to say is when they transitioned to the New York, we watching the episode, they transitioned to New York and Lindsay, I'm like, no. I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm sorry, Lindsay. I love you, but we need to go back to the pirate party. I was like,
Right.
kind of fast forwarding through that. I'm like, no, 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 no. We can't go to like Demure Mom vibes in the middle of this like massive, messy party that's going on. So
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that was someone trying to be artsy with like the contrast.
right, the editing. And by the way, she is like a buttoned up in her confessional. She's like a buttoned up shirt. She's got like mom hair. Like she's
Yeah,
made
this
the
is
cover.
definitely Turner's influence for sure.
Yes,
She wants
yes.
like Turner to marry her.
So, all right. So back to the pirate party. So Sierra Page and they talk about Craig in bed.
Wait, so did you see how like Sierra was trying to hide her face at first, but then
Why?
Paige wasn't? That was like Paige being like, no, it's fine. I'll just talk about it.
Really? You
Yeah,
think
I mean,
that?
like if Paige could have hit herself, they could have talked in the closet. They could have talked anywhere else. You know what I mean? But they didn't. And and I feel like that probably was like a step of Paige being like, no, this is going to be over by the time this films,
Sure.
this
Yeah,
airs.
yeah, yeah.
She's
That's a
like, I
really
don't
good point,
care.
Jake. Because a
Yeah.
lot of people on Reddit were saying, like, why did Sierra cover her face with the like
Laptop.
laptop? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I think she was trying to like make it so the camera couldn't read her lips or see her or hear her. But Paige
Interesting.
wasn't covering herself. So
Yeah, that's a good call. Did you see how Sierra was had her painted yellow legs in the bed?
her room is so messy. That's all I could focus on in
Disgusting.
the most recent episode. I was like, that is the dirtiest room I've ever seen. Maybe that's why, like, her maybe she's a messy person and her boyfriends can't handle it.
Yes, Kate. Yes.
Because
I
like
had the
everything else
exact
about her
same
is
thought.
perfect. She has no flaws, but she must just be like stupid messy, and then that's what breaks her.
And by the way, there was zero cleanup that happened in that room. It was just
No.
completely left that way.
No, it's so gross. What I will say about their conversation though is I wrote this down. I was like, you could tell that Paige isn't mad. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's animosity. Like you just don't care anymore. And you could tell she's like checking out.
Right.
And she's just like making this decision. And I just feel so bad. She had all those panic attacks because of him, like because he was making her feel bad. And I know she's had like those kind of like verbally and also physically abusive relationship in the past. So like it must have been, I don't know. I feel like she must have it must have brought that back up too, because he's like kind of belittling what she's doing and making her feel bad about it.
I agree. All right, so let's keep moving. So they go out, which is the infinite threesome. First of all, I like Emerald. I actually like him a little
Even
bit.
though
I
we've
like
never spoken about him on the podcast.
I know. I think he's not a bad addition. And for some reason, his cavalierness around how sexually forward he is, I'm like, I kind of like dig it, not because of the sexually forwardness, but just because of like how authentic he is to himself. He's like,
Right.
yeah,
He's
I
like,
have a
this is
threesome.
just who I am. And like, I either take it or leave it. And like, and he's not misleading anyone and he's not misleading girls. He's like, I don't do relationships. I just do this. I know. I like it too. He's good, like side TV. He's not
Yes.
obviously the main storyline. He's handsome. He's great at kickball. And then he just like has threesomes every weekend. And,
Right.
you know, it's
Well,
just.
and he's clearly more mature because he brings home the two girls. He's like very like, yeah, this is a normal Tuesday for me. And Jesse's the one that squirms his way in there and has this weird odd moment, which will go down in history of a toast up.
In what world are you like, I'm in the kitchen with my friends eating and you hear there's a threesome and you're like, I'm gonna go check it out. And you have like the guts to open the door and walk in.
I agree on all of that. That is weird part number one that he did that, you know.
Yeah.
And then he throughout the rest of the episode, he tries to say like, well, this girl wanted to suck my toe. You know what I mean? Like he takes the blame off of him constantly.
Yeah. No, he knew he did something wrong. He knew Like the second he walked out of that room, he also said it made him hard.
I know, I know,
Yeah.
I know.
So
Oh
gross.
God.
And at 38 minutes of toe sucking or talking or something, like Lexi is fully right. Like this is not okay. And it's weird he did it. And it's weird he didn't talk about it. And it's not, I mean, the one thing I will say in his defense is they weren't exclusive till after the toe sucking.
True, true. But, and I think so. Let's just cut to some of the next episode, right? So I think he thought between the Sierra situation and the toe sucking, the Sierra situation was worse. So out of the two
Ah,
things that he was going to tell her, he told her the Sierra thing, and he
yeah.
was hoping that the toe sucking thing would just be like more like fun.
Yeah.
And then I think he sat down at the kickball conversation between the two of them, and I think he was ready to talk about the toe sucking thing. And
Yes.
Lexi actually started with the Sierra thing. So then he was like caught off guard again. It's like,
I
there's a problem when you have so many things that you're trying to hide or downplay that you don't even know what is being talked about.
Yeah, obviously they don't last. I wonder how long they did last. But she seems like she's doing great. Do you follow her? She has like a deal with Hanky Panky now.
Oh, good. Good
She
for
has
her.
like a new brand, like collaboration or something. But yes, I think like Jesse's just like one day into his exclusive relationship and just like fumbling so hard.
So hard. The other thing I'll say about Lexi, which I texted you about, she has a podcast, which I don't know how many people listen to it. It's called 6 and 9. It's her mom, and her sister, and it is absolutely brain rot. It
Wait,
is not worth it.
that's such a weird thing to do, a podcast with your family?
So weird. And they literally talk about nothing, and it's done in a very Valley Girl, like we're so great, we're so happy, way. I
What's
was
the
listening
name? Is she trying to be like 69? Why is it called 6 and 9?
with your family.
That's so weird.
I don't know. And then, so she apparently does talk a lot about Jesse and her relationship on it. So I was there
Oh,
trying to dig that up. I couldn't even get to that. It was too hard. I was listening at like 4 times fast or 3 times. I couldn't. I had to just stop. I'm like, I don't know. Reddit's going to have to synthesize this for me. I
I
can't.
was gonna say Reddit or ChatGPT or like someone on TikTok needs to tell us what she's saying because we don't have time to do that.
I know. I know.
Well, everybody has a podcast, even us.
I know. Somebody's like, the key with our podcast is we just have to out endure everyone else. So I always think about this. Like Raquel had a podcast and she stopped that. Tom Sandoval had a podcast on Vanderpump and he stopped
Did
it. Like,
he? Oh my God,
yes,
everybody.
they only last like a couple months because it's like work. All right, so let's go to the next episode. Softbar launch. There's a lot that goes down at this softbar
Wait,
launch.
first of all, this is a great episode.
I agree. There's a lot happening on all
Quick,
of it.
fast, lots of drama, lots of tea. I was like, they should uninvite someone to the Hamptons every week so that there's like this side drama that happens as the rumors spill. I love seeing the rumors like go around. Even
I
Bailey
loved it.
knew stuff.
I loved it. And I don't know which one to focus on, right? But the one person I will say, who's kind of the hero of the episode, is actually Bailey.
I,
She's the one that revealed the toe sucking to Lexi.
who
Emerald
told
revealed it to Bailey.
I see.
And she should have been cut out by now, big time.
Yeah.
But they had to keep her in because she specifically was the one that said, well, he sucked some girl's toe to Lexi. So they had to keep her in for
I
this
see.
reason.
Yes.
Otherwise, you wouldn't know how Lexi found out, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, dang, Bailey makes an appearance because she cannot be cut out.
Yeah, because she reveals the drama. I was shocked to see Bailey. I was shocked that she's like still in the group and knew the drama. You know what I was also shocked at? I love this. I don't know if you heard this on the after show. Lindsay saying, "Why would I go to New Jersey for a bar that's opening in Brooklyn? Like why?" And that's a great point. Like why is he having the soft launch at his parents' house in New Jersey? Whoever's beautiful mansion that was in New Jersey. Like what was that?
Well, don't you think he was trying to it was like a knockoff summer house?
Yeah, it
Looked
was just like a weird vibe.
So a couple of things. One is Kyle, I've heard, is involved in his soft bar because of course I was thinking in my head, how hypocritical of Kyle to be mad at Craig for his alcohol stuff, but not be mad at Carl for launching non-alcoholic. But it's because Kyle's involved, which means I think Bravo's involved, right? And so Bravo is either a part investor or
Yeah.
will get some sort of commission for people coming into Carl's business. So I think that Carl could only afford New Jersey, but he had to get it on the show, right? And he had to try and do it big. So it felt like it was worthy enough to be filmed. Anyway, that's my tea on it all.
Yeah, It still hasn't opened. I tried to Google where it was. It hasn't opened yet. They're still working on the space. They have the space. I don't know. I've watched enough Bravo now to know that restaurants are hard and bars are hard, and like, is there really money in them?
Well, and can you imagine, Kate, if like out of all of our busy lives, we finally get to go out and then we're going to a bar that doesn't serve alcohol? I'm
I
like, I
know.
can't. I
Well,
can't.
and he even said in the after show, he was like, I like met someone who started a dry bar and it failed. And
I
I was like, okay,
know.
so don't start a dry bar.
Yeah.
Like, think of something
Well,
else.
and so I've heard, same as you, that it's not open yet. He's doing a bunch of pop-ups. I'm like, that could actually be good where you just do
Just
pop-up, pop-up,
take your
pop-up.
van around. That's fine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Take your banner around.
You don't need a whole store.
That's so
I don't
funny.
know. Just keep doing goldfish ads or whatever he did.
Oh my gosh, that was the dark days of Carl when he was doing goldfish ads and then his like face changed and his like teeth were really like chiclet
So
looking.
weird. Yeah, at least his teeth have like calmed down a little bit. Not a
I
lot, but a
know.
little bit.
My brother watches the show and he's like, "What has happened to Carl's face?"
We're like, we don't know. Nobody
We don't
knows.
know.
It's a
I think it's the
mystery.
stress. That's all I can think. Okay, so a couple hot, quick things on this soft bar lunch that I think you would appreciate. So one is Gabby's outfit is literally a strip of fabric across her boobs. I was like,
Yes.
oh my God, I would never be able to wear anything like that ever in life, even if I had the best body I've ever had in my entire existence. I was like, holy moly, that was small.
She didn't realize his parents would be there.
Yeah, right. Or it's just like what those girls wear. I'm like, I don't know. I can't keep up.
I
I'm
don't
I'm
know.
the queen of turtlenecks, as you can tell.
As much coverage as possible.
She's got like a ton of these Bravo lebs there. So I don't know if you caught like there's Jason, there's Jasmine, there's like all these like people from other shows that were
Oh,
there as well.
what
Which
shows is Jason and Jasmine?
Jason was on Winter House for a minute. He
Oh, I
was
saw Jason. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Jason, like, he was the one that had like the miscarriage with
with
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then Jasmine was on Martha's Vineyard. I don't know if you ever watched
Oh,
that
I
show. It
haven't
got
seen
canceled.
Martha's. I haven't gotten there. I have too much
No.
content.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. It got canceled.
I have one thought about soft lunch. I don't know. So maybe it's just because I haven't really met Carl's mom before through the show. Like maybe she showed up earlier, but she is a Spitfire and she actually gives Lindsay vibes. Like then it kind of makes sense why Carl was into Lindsay. Like his mom has the same energy, like quick talking, like not afraid to talk a little shit, like funny, quick
I
witted,
That's
loud.
interesting, Kate. That's actually such a hot take because I agree with you. I cannot believe she said, well, Lindsay was a little mean to me.
I know. That's what I mean. Like, and you could picture Lindsay saying that exact thing.
Yeah.
Lindsay would also say that at something.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, and then Carl, she was featured on a little bit on Watch What Happens Live. The mom was, and Carl's
Oh,
like, "Oh, I texted her to make sure she knew this was happening." It's like, no, 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 no. She can't be like saying what she said on camera and not expect to get a little like hate from it.
oh yeah. Last thing is Lil is there in the weirdest outfit again.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
She sticks out like a sore thumb with all of them in their like summer pastels, and then she's in her.
Their sets, and then Lil has her own set, which was like made from Joanne fabric. And here's the thing: she's a girl. She's a granola girl, which
Oh yeah,
I don't have hate for, but I cannot relate to in any sense
yeah,
of my life.
exactly.
Like
Completely.
she
She
was
probably
saying,
like makes her own kombucha.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
100%. She
Yeah.
was saying to Carl, like, well, you should have an open mic night at a soft bar. And I was like, of course you want an open
Oh,
mic
like for
night,
like
Lil.
beat poetry?
Yes, like
Okay,
she would
got
come up
it.
with a
Okay.
poem.
It all
Yes, yeah.
tracks.
But like the reality is like, Kate, you and I are so far away from like that type of person.
So far away. In case people are only listening and not seeing our faces on this podcast.
Our basic bean faces.
Exactly.
All right, so let's move to the city. I love when they film in the city. I love that they're doing this.
They should do it more.
I agree. I'm sure it's just hard to capture everything because there's so many kids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they make them all do kickball.
Yeah, right. Well, first of all, Jesse and Lexi have their date, right? Which
Oh
he
yeah.
basically asks if she wants to be exclusive. Apparently, she set that all up. She wanted that to happen in that moment. She said, "Call me old fashioned, but I wanted him to ask me." So she pushed
On
him to do that.
camera.
We also see her modeling a little bit, which you already mentioned. She, to me, feels very sexy model. Like, I don't think she's landing high fashion. Like, Paige is high fashion. She's
Yeah.
landing, like, as you said, underwear, Victoria's
Yeah.
Secret. I wouldn't be
Yes.
shocked.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting how she was saying that like she doesn't need all her agents and managers anymore and just her family, probably because so much of it has moved to this like influencer style
Yeah.
of making money, which is great for the actual influencer who's doing all the work. Is like you don't need all these extra people that take cuts. Yeah, but
Right.
I'm interested to see what the rest of the stuff is she does, you know?
Yeah. Or like what brands pick her up.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we move to kickball, which
What group?
kickball is hard, Kate. Have you ever played it recently?
No, like not in the last 10 years.
It's hard to kick the ball. I've kicked
The boys were really launching it. Like it
I
was going
know.
deep.
Like even
Yeah.
like Gabby had a good kick. It was giving me a little anxiety because I have played kickball not recently, but like in the last 5 years, and it's like shockingly actually quite hard to be good at kickball.
That's funny. I was like, I had so many questions. I was like, are they good? Because like there's a cross section between like Bravo stars are just really good kickball players. Cause like most of the guys are like ex athletes. I don't know. And then I was like, is this a real league? Like, how did they get these? I felt bad for the other team that was just getting like obliterated. I don't know. There was a lot of questions just about the kickball setup.
Yeah, I think that was a one off because I think they did the league last year and then this year was kind of like a continuation. But
Right, because Wes said something in the after show about like last year we had a whole team for the whole
yeah.
league, and then this was just like one game.
And he was clearly trying to recreate this for him and Sierra, right? Which
Yeah.
I just want to talk about this for 1 second with you because I think you'll have a good opinion on it. It seems Wes is forcing this curation of like him and Sierra like to a max. And I feel like it's almost potentially for a storyline, like that he's curating and he's so careful and he's so trying to be so honorable about it. Part of me is like, he really wants to get back in her good graces. Part of me is like, he's manufacturing a storyline for himself of like him winning back Sierra because this is, I mean, it's so forced.
Like as friends, like just like winning her back as friends.
Yes, yes.
Maybe he has like a PR manager who was like, this is what you have to do the whole season. It feels very
Right.
forced. And as I said before, kind of boring. Like, not much is happening with Wes, but he got his kickball game in. So he got
Well,
that big play too.
and then he was super sweaty after. Did you see that? Like
Yeah, yeah,
dripping.
yeah. Yeah. I can see like the football stuff coming through.
Well, and it was like it was the glory days of reality TV. It was like the golden era was back on our screens because there was like a slow opening of all the information. It wasn't like someone told Lexi like immediately. It was like it was a little kicking, and then like it slowly made its way to Lexi, and then she found out about the toe, and then she found out more about Sierra. Like it was drips and drabs, and I feel like
Yeah.
this is why we need to have like OGs like Lindsay Hubbard on because she knows how to play this perfectly. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like where
She
she just
did.
like she like tells Lexi, but she doesn't do it meanly. She wants it to be like, I'm looking
Yeah.
out for you.
Yeah. And
So do you think she actually cares with Carl?
I was going to say, this is the first time we saw her care that they broke up. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Agreed. Agreed.
And so
That's a
either
good
she's been pretending she doesn't care or she's pretending she cares now. I think she's
right.
been pretending she doesn't care. To be
Agreed.
honest, you're almost married. You're going to care. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? I
Yes.
still care. I still like care about past relationships. You know, like you stay curious. You get riled up about things. You hear something.
Anything else on Summer House or should we go to Southern Charm?
I'm excited for Southern Charm. Let's go. Reunion.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So we have to talk about the seating chart really quick because I always like love this.
Oh, I didn't
So
even
the
pay
seating
attention.
I don't worry, I got you. So the seating is that Shep was on one side, Craig was on the other, right? So usually how they seat is who's in the hot seat, who's got the best storyline. Now
Okay.
next to Shep was actually Molly. Molly this is her first
Right.
time on the season. So the fact that she's before Austin, the fact that she's before other players who have been around longer is like I was like, whoa,
Did they just put her there because like they want her and Shep to make out or something?
maybe. Okay, so let's go into the JT drama. So JT's back. So I don't know if you remember this, but he actually posted that huge thing during, the confessional kind of
Yeah.
filming of it. And he walked out, now he's back. And he's also trying to refute every darn thing on social media, which I
Oh,
don't
is
think
he?
is
He's living in
not
the
good.
comments, as they say.
Yes, living in the house. Who else is doing that? Which you and I talked about. Bose.
It's gonna kill you.
And you just everything is just fueling the haters. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they screenshot that and they post it. Like you're
Yeah.
just giving them more clout.
That's what they want. That's the whole point.
I know, right? Okay, so JT's back, which we love. Craig and Andy talk about Craig's breakup. The part I want to get your thoughts on, because I thought this was so shady that Andy did this. He literally looks at Craig as he walks the timeline through, and he says basically Craig came on Watch What Happens Live and lied on it, right? And Andy goes to Craig, do you think you were telling the truth? He says like that to Craig.
Yeah,
Do you
like
think
he's a
so?
6-year-old boy because he is. It's like, so was that the truth? He's like leading him.
That's my
Greg
question to
had
you.
a beautiful spin.
What
His
was it?
spin on why he lied was like, I didn't think it was actually over, so I didn't want to tell people because like if we didn't tell people it wasn't over. That is I don't know if someone helped him with that, if he thought of him himself. That is a good spin on why he lied for a month.
If you believe what you're saying, is it actually a lie? Because that is, I think, Craig in a
He's
nutshell.
like, no, I didn't lie. I'm delusional.
Yes, yes, I believe it. So is it a lie if I
No,
believe
I
it?
think if you actually believe it, which I think Craig just like lives in his own world and figured like this is, he of course he's going to marry Paige. I just found it so funny because he kept like referring back to like one time she said that she wanted to live in Charleston. One time she said she wanted to have his kids. It wasn't like a bunch of times. And I was like, no, this is like giving like someone who's not paying attention to the relationship.
I totally agree. So then they move to Madison FaceTime Call with JT. I don't really care about the storyline that much, but what are your thoughts on it?
I don't care. I just thought it was hilarious how they're like, let's just be friends again, put it to bed. And literally 1 millisecond later, JT's like, great, let's do that. Except, would you have been mad if da 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 da? And I was like, JT, what is wrong
What
with
is wrong
you?
with you? Yeah. The only other thing I'll say is Madison is really overcompensating with Austin. She was on Watch What Happens Live and I saw her. She talks about him as her gay uncle, her gunkle. To me, there's something weird going on with that. To me, I think that Brett, her husband, maybe doesn't want Austin around. So she's really overcompensating by calling him like her gay best friend because she's hitting it again on Watch What Happens Live, which it's not even factually true, right? It's a little confusing. Like he's not gay, so he's not a gunkle.
I can't imagine someone I dated like becoming my best friend that way. If I'm in
No,
another relationship, like has that ever happened?
no,
Not
no.
someone you seriously dated. Maybe someone like
No.
you accidentally hooked up with, but not someone you seriously dated.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I think and nobody's husband, like my husband is really not okay if I'm texting like a guy friend without
No.
him on the thread,
Yeah.
much less it being someone that I dated. That would be an absolute no. Just
No,
out of
it's just
respect.
disrespectful. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Anyway,
yeah, but she's pregnant, so she gets no stones thrown at her this time.
right. Yeah. See the Shep and Sienna of it. So the thing we find out I think it's in, oh, he talks about it in the reunion, right? Is that she went to that Forbes conference and she found an investor. And basically the investor was the guy she started dating, the Denver
Ugh.
Bronco. I tried to look up who this Denver Bronco was and I got nowhere on it. Apparently they move, unless you're like the star of the team, they move them to and fro from the practice squad quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's like you always want to start, you get to Sunday, and then after Sunday happens, you maybe make some moves of who and what
Yeah.
on the positions that maybe we don't know as well.
Yeah.
So there has been a lot of moves to the practice squad. Like Shep was like, well, he got moved to the practice squad. He could have been moved up the next game. Like that doesn't mean a ton.
Yeah.
Now, maybe those who are football players will be like, no, that's not right, Lauren. But I couldn't
Yeah.
figure out who this guy was. That's what I'm trying to say.
This looked so ugly on Shep, like him just like talking trash like he's a schoolgirl. Maybe that's the problem with all these men in South Carolina. Like they just like are kind of petty bitches. He was being petty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And a
Well,
bitch.
Sienna keeps going on TikTok, which you may have
I know.
seen.
Did you watch them?
I didn't watch it, but I heard about it, I guess. What was your take?
I watched like a majority of it. If some man who's 20 years older than you came to your hometown with all of his friends because you hooked up once, I'd be like, oh, this man's gonna murder me. I'd be like, I need to get out. I need to get away.
Well, to your point, right? Did you hear about the $10 million? He thinks she asked, "Can you buy me a house?" That was $10 million.
Oh, right, yeah.
She thinks she was referencing, her version was she was referencing a community that she would love to live in one day. And
Yeah.
kind of said something like, "I would love to live there." And he said, "I can't afford that community." Like, it's just like
And he's like,
completely.
that's why she didn't like want to date me. And it's like, no, if she would, if she did, if she wanted to, she would. You know, that like
Right.
meme that's like, if they wanted to, they would. So
Right.
it's not about money. Or like, yeah, it's about money until you fall in love. So you guys obviously weren't in love.
All right, so Leva, let's talk about her for 1 second. She talks more in this reunion than we've seen all season of her.
Was Leva even like technically on the show this
I
season?
don't know. She's not in the main kind of cast photo
Yeah.
online, so she's clearly friend of, but
I know it's confusing, especially for me because I've only watched the last 2 seasons of Southern Charms, where Leva like does not exist. She's like she shows up like 4 times total.
she's leaving, quote unquote, leaving Southern Charm. I'm like, girl, I don't know if you were
Oh,
ever actually like part of this.
right, exactly. Yeah. What did she talk about? I can't even remember
Well,
on
she
the
gets in
reunion.
a lot with the like JT and Craig stuff,
Oh,
and Craig gets mad at her, and he kind of says what I said, right? Like, this is like, where were you this season? This is more you've talked in the entire season. But I was also like, why does Leva even sit on the couch?
huh.
Okay, so lastly, JT and Vanita, and kind of, it seems like, first of all, this first time they're seeing each other, right? Since it's all come about, and it's still a massive game of who thinks what happened between the two of them. So, Kate, what is your take on what happened between the two of them?
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like he was talking to both of them, the way that kids use the word talking. He was talking to who eventually would become his girlfriend. Let's call her, I don't know her name. Let's call her Susie. I don't know. He was talking to Susie, he's talking to Vanita, and then he puts Susie on hold and then dates Vanita and then breaks up with Vanita and dates Susie. Is that
I
actually what happened?
agree
And
with
I don't know.
all of
What's her
that.
real name if you know it?
I don't know it, but I think actually Benita ghosted him for a minute because remember she was like trying to quote unquote figure it out. And during that ghosting, he ran back to the original girl. I
But what
took
was she
that. I
trying
was
to
like,
figure out? Weren't they already dating or had something happened?
I think was getting mean messages from his
Oh, yeah, yeah, from this
girlfriend.
girl. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And she said, "You need to stand up for me and like clear the
Yes.
air."
Yeah.
And he didn't do that. And then she said, "I'm going to take a moment to think about this." And then
Yeah.
during that ghosting period, like a little insecure, short guy that he is, ran back to the other girl, and then
Yeah.
locked that down, like in a
And
way
then
that was like
and then she
inappropriate.
obviously made him post their relationship on Instagram.
Right,
Like, what
right.
guy would think to do that? My
And then
husband has no photos on his Instagram.
of
Literally none.
you,
No, 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 no photos. He has his
uh,
Instagram is just a viewing Instagram. He has nothing ever posted.
I see. Yeah, he
I
just
try to
like
do
goes out of it. So,
collaborations with him and he won't even accept the collaboration.
oh my god, that's so funny.
So I just feel like his new girlfriend definitely made him
Yeah,
post.
she was like, "This is it. If you're in with
Yeah.
me, you're changing all of this. You're getting
I
this
feel
right."
bad for Vanita because like she obviously and she's talked about this, she doesn't like conflict, so she's not going to fight. You
Mhm.
know, she's not going to fight for him, she's not going to fight them, like she just doesn't want to fight. But she obviously like loves him for some godforsaken reason.
I think the fact that this relationship compared to the one that she had with the other guy, the black guy last season,
Oh
where he
yeah.
went to New York, this is like shocking how much Vanita shows how lovey-dovey she is to JT
Yes.
versus like that guy who she was actually in a relationship with that guy.
I didn't even realize they were like dating for a little bit because like they weren't showing it. I was like, oh, that's just her friend.
I know. All right. Anything else on Southern Charm? Such a good reunion.
No, it's the second part's tonight, right?
Yep.
What
Yep.
else is there to talk about?
I don't know. I don't know how much longer we can talk about JT and Vanita. Like, it feels like we kind of have already
Love her take.
hashed it. She's going to get her phone. That's the big thing that's happening,
Oh,
which
right. The screenshots, receipts, timeline.
proof timeline. Yes, yes, yes. So she's going, but I've heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, but Reddit, of course, is saying that they think her receipts are very weak, which can we
Mm.
talk about this? So there is a class of people that bring quote unquote receipts, and then the receipts like don't show what they're trying to.
Like Blake Lively in her whole legal case, she's like, no, 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 I have the receipts. And everyone's like, those aren't really anything.
These are like weak at best.
Yeah, exactly.
Love is Blind too, which we won't get into, but also somebody brought receipts during that reunion, and the receipts were very weak. And it was like, this is not making your point at all. People who don't bring good receipts, like remember, you don't probably don't remember this, but during the Salt Lake reunion, this one girl, Monica, brought this, she pulled out like a burn book. It was written like Mean Girls, burn book. And everyone was like, damn, here we go. The receipts are coming. And there was no receipts. Let's go to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Right. My weakest point, but I'm here for it.
All right. So Kate's not a tried and true watcher of this. So we're just going to hit some high points on it. Let's start with Bose and the rumors that I texted you. For those who didn't see it, there's a lot coming out about Bose and her corporate job, that she was a job hopper. She's not really stayed at a lot of her C-suite jobs for longer than a year. And no one really knows exactly why she gets fired from these jobs, or why she leaves, I should say. We don't know if she gets fired, why she leaves, but it's always kind of very mysterious, and there's never a great reason why she's all of a sudden just kind of leaving these. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I did have that initial thought when someone said she's been at Amazon and Netflix and Apple. Like she had almost been at like too many big names to like fit on a resume. But I will also say, you know, having worked in the corporate world, if you're a CMO, was she a CMO? That's what it sounds like she was. Marketing officer. I feel like they hire you, and if you don't literally like turn around, I feel like so much is put on CMOs, and it's like, if you don't turn it around in 1 year, you're out. So I actually feel like CMOs just get flipped a lot in general.
I agree.
But maybe there was something extra. I mean, is there anything on Reddit about her?
No, it's I mean, the person who was revealing all this on the Reddit thread said that they had a lot of mutual professional relationships with her and Bose, and like just the characteristic was always that she was only there for a short period of time, and then it was like she was gone. The one thing I'll say about C-suite though, and to your point, right, I do think they move quick through C-suite. It's like 2-year stints, but it does take somebody a bit of time to like establish and get their vision out there. You know,
Yeah.
It's like the first month they're like quote unquote learning the company, meeting with people. Then the second month, you know, maybe they're putting together something that they want to get their vision out.
No, it takes a full year to do what you want to
Right.
do.
So it's
but
like,
I don't feel like they get enough time to do it. You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
But I feel like I could see how maybe she comes in selling like a dream, and then the dream is like very far from happening. And it's just, you know, she talks a good game, which we kind of love about her as the reality TV character. But,
Yeah.
you know, in the corporate world, I think you got to produce results. Who knows?
Yeah.
The other thing to say about Bose, did you watch the Carnivale episode?
Yeah.
Her outfit is like, Kate, like string on her. It's like the most revealing outfit you have ever seen times a million. It is literally like string.
I don't think I clocked that.
Oh my God. Like down to the bottoms. It's
Well, she's got a
very
banging
revealing.
bod. She wants to
She
show
does
it
have a
off.
good bod.
She wants to show it off. She is a little mad at me. You know that? In the reunion, she said she was mad at all the people on the internet that like poo-pooed her idea about having another kid. And I was like, oh shoot, that's me. I'm that person on the internet that was like, you're too old to have a kid.
But she's still moving forward with it, she said,
Yeah,
right?
so she didn't take what I said to heart. She ignored my advice. Yeah, and if it works, it works. But I did feel bad. I was like, oh shoot, she's mad at me.
I think you said what we were all thinking a little bit. I still don't exactly know how that's going to work, but good for her. You know, maybe she is fertile.
My biggest fear, having 3 children of my own, my biggest like fear for her is like you're gonna be like 70 when they're, I don't know how old. Like, how are you gonna keep up with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. It's good in theory, and then if you actually like live that, I'm sure it's going to be quite hard, right?
Right, exactly.
Well, the other thing I want to talk about is Kathy Hilton. So again, on the Carnivale episode, Kathy Hilton is such an odd person that I still cannot figure out. The one thing I want to say about her is everyone decides that they're wearing like dress to the nines outfits at their first group dinner. Kathy Hilton shows up. She tells Kyle on the phone, I'm just going to wear a t-shirt and shorts, and literally shows up in a t-shirt and shorts. I was like, Kathy, oh my God, what is wrong with you? Like,
she just thinks she's like so much better than everyone that like dressing down is dressing up. Maybe she's trying to start a new trend.
Okay, that's really giving her a lot of credit. And then the other thing with her, did you see how they were watching her meticulously do her makeup? I'm like, why are we watching this?
Does she do good makeup? I don't think.
No.
I mean, how old is she? Maybe she does look a lot younger. Maybe she's 80. I'm just kidding. I was going to say though, then it would be impressive.
I'm like, how in all of production, filming all this stuff going on, somebody goes, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to Kathy Hilton's room and watch her put on her layers of makeup. I just thought, what are we doing?
I don't know. She must like have it in her contract that she needs a certain amount of hours on TV, and they just hadn't gotten there yet. So they're like, quick, film nothing.
Okay, let's go to the reunion. So the reunion is quite good. I saw it.
Mhm.
Two things I want to get your opinion on. One is, so Dorit and Kyle are going at it. Now, you know the story of Kyle, right? We don't hear enough about her. Dorit says something that I'm like, wait, did everybody hear that? And it was so weird to me. It was in the very beginning. Dorit says to Kyle, well, you're friends with the higher ups at Bravo. You would have known if I was staying on or not. And it was, you know, she was trying to make a point around how Kyle was treating her
Yeah.
that season. I'm like, wait a second. Did she
I
just say
didn't,
what we
Lauren,
all
I
kind of
didn't
knew?
hear that. How did
Oh
I
my
miss
God,
that?
Kate. It was like, I was like, wait, we need to go back and talk about just that for the next like 45 minutes. Because we've all known that Kyle, for some reason, has been the darling of Bravo.
Yeah.
And she doesn't always she's not always transparent. And then to hear that she's not only friends, it's not just like Andy she's friends with, she's friends with higher ups. And then she doesn't even sit there and go, no, I'm not. She goes, yeah, I am. I knew you were staying on another season. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, what? Oh my
Maybe, I
God.
mean, she has been there for 14 years. Is like, can they ever get rid of Kyle? Is she like the longest standing housewife?
I think Vicky might be, but Vicky's now off.
Okay.
But the thing with Kyle is people have called for Kyle to be
Step down.
stepped off because of just she hides too much, right? And the fact that she actually admitted that, I was like, wait a minute, here we go. This is what we've all like known, but no one
Right.
touches it.
I will also say, and maybe it's because I only watched a total of 4 episodes this whole season, but I do feel like Kyle was the most talkative I've seen her all season at the reunion. Like, I just feel like in all the episodes I watched, she was just kind of like the silent one. And the issue was she wasn't speaking up for her friends and she wasn't defending. And then she like came to the reunion, I feel like ready to
Like
talk.
defend.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
I get the things she said about Morgan not wanting to be on the show, like, and respecting that part of her relationship and stuff.
Yeah, which I do give her credit. There's a lot of Bravo Labs that do what she did, which is like, I just can't bring my significant other to the show. They don't want to be a part of it. I think the point Garcelle was making was like, but she already filmed with us once. So why is now she trying to hide herself? I get that too.
Yeah.
So did you hear what happened with Garcelle, by the way? She walked off and like, she's not filming anymore and she's not coming back and she didn't do the cast
No,
photo.
I felt kind of blindsided because I didn't realize like Garcelle had that much beef.
I think this happens after, like we'll see at the next part, is that she basically is like, I'm done. Which
Wow.
I'm shocked by that, Kate, because to your point, right? Like she was a little bit of a truth teller this season. She talked about Kyle being a lesbian. She tries to hit heavily on Sutton and Kyle's relationship. And then to leave after all that, it's like, Garcelle, stick it out. It's like, why bring up this much dirt and then leave?
You put in all that work. I also thought it was so interesting that Erica called her boring because, like, sure, maybe Garcelle wasn't good reality TV, but then I was like thinking about Garcelle as a person and I was like, no, she's like incredibly interesting that she like went from nothing and has built this like empire and she's a producer and an actress and all of this. I was like, maybe she just is on the wrong type of show. I want to learn how she did all of that.
Right. And
Yeah.
she's still going. I mean, like she's
I
still
know.
creating and doing
Yeah,
all
maybe
that.
she just doesn't need the show anymore. Or
Mhm.
maybe it's just like a problem. Like it's just like an inconvenience. Wait, but the most significant thing for me that happened at the reunion is Andy said, Garcelle, how's your son Oliver? He said, is he still working at Vanderpump or for Lisa Vanderpump? I did not realize Oliver is the Oliver that hooked up with Raquel. How could you not tell me that? Lauren, when we were first introduced to Oliver, I needed to know this information.
And by the way, it was very organic. It was like Oliver has not been like trying to get his own show or trying to cross paths with people. Like the Vanderpump Rules crew went out in Vegas. Oliver
Yes.
happened to be there.
Yeah.
And that's where he hooked up with Raquel or tried to, I think they made out on the dance floor. And then Garcelle got him back to LA because he was having problems and got him a job with Lisa. Like it's so small world, right? It's very organic. It's not like
Yeah. Well,
he
and I
pursued
remember
this.
the whole drama when he hooked up with Raquel is like you later found out that he had a wife and kids because then you go and Google him and he has a freaking wife and kids and you're like, wait,
Yeah.
that's all. Anyway,
Yeah.
that was the most significant part of the reunion for me.
Well, and Kate, I'll tell you, we'll see if he's on the Vanderpump season, right? Because they're rebooting that with like a
Are
brand
they
new
still
cast.
are they doing Vanderpump but with new people?
New people, right? So
Oh my God.
he would
And
be
the
right for
Valley's
that.
coming back.
Anything else in the reunion? Of course, like the big drop was that Dorit, who has called her husband an alcoholic, kind of suggests that he might be drinking again.
Yeah. The only thing I wanted to ask you was like, well, I'm going to ask this question in a very leading way. Isn't it dumb that she's not telling her kids that they're like, can't they just watch the freaking show?
I think that's why everyone is like, what do you mean you're not telling them? You know?
Right. It's everywhere.
Well, and I think in my mind, she wanted to get back together with BK. She was holding in her heart because he was the one that initiated the divorce, and she was holding that she'd get back together with him. So originally, I thought her rationale was, if we get back together, I don't want to put them through, them flip flopping. But now it's very clear they're not getting back together. So now you should be saying something. And I don't know why she's not. It's weird. And I think she might be the breadwinner out of the two of them.
Well, that's what someone implied, that like he can't handle her success and fame, which is sad. All these guys got to grow up.
Yeah, right. It just you got to enter the marriage already successful and famous, like I did. Like you just can't you can't like get there. You have to like just start that way. So that's my advice for everybody.
Yeah.
Anything else on Real Housewives of B Hills?
No, I feel good. I feel like we're in a good place. There's one more of that reunion too. Okay.
Which I don't know what we're going to talk about there. I mean, to your point about like, what are we dragging out now? Let's move to conspiracy theories. Woo woo.
Do you have some? I don't have any this week.
I have a couple.
Okay, good.
So one is, which by the way, if those of us who listened last week, Kate brought forward a pyramid theory, which I've now seen everywhere around.
TikTok loves it. It's not a theory. They actually proved it now. Yeah, but they don't know what's down there. They know something is down there.
Well, someone's got to dig down and find it because...
Well, they're never going to be allowed to dig under the pyramid, so no one will ever know.
We'll never know, right? Which is part of why the conspiracy theorists are live and breathe, is they, their mysteries are never solved.
Exactly.
So conspiracy theory number one, quick hit. Harry Potter. I saw this and I was like, what? Harry Potter obviously is very straightforward, a wizard story. Now, the conspiracy theorists, if you go deep into the dark web, this is not a popular thing that anyone's really talking about, but they suggest that that movie and that his story is actually a young boy who goes through very much mental trauma and makes the school of Hogwarts in his brain. And the Dursleys and Dudley are not his parents. I mean, they are his parents. That's his brother, not his uncle and aunt and cousin. And he has made up the vision of Lily and his dad. I forget the dad's name, but he's made up those two. He's made up Hogwarts. And then if you go through Hogwarts, kind of all of these trials that he has to overcome you can match to like different trauma that he has to overcome while he's at Hogwarts, including Voldemort being a projection of his like alter ego and his anger associated with the trauma that he's endured as a child. I don't know about that.
I have heard this theory and it ruined it. What you're like, oh damn, this theory actually sort of checks out. You're like, no, he's just like being abused by his parents. He's basically still in the closet under the stairs.
Yes, the entire
and
time
he's made up this whole world as a way to cope. I really hope that's not true. I don't think she would do that to us.
The one thing I found that was like the antenna went up was J.K. Rowling supported and has worked with this organization, which is about children being locked in institutions, and they're trying to remove children from institutions in Europe. Guess what the organization is called? Lumos, which is the spell.
Did she name it or it was already that?
It was already named. So, but Lumos is what they do to get, it's like their first spell to like get the light at the end of their wand, right? So, interesting, right? I don't think I don't want to
believe that one. I'm rejecting. Yeah. Rejected. Next one.
All right. Conspiracy theory number 2. Justin Bieber has married Hailey Bieber. Now, this one's been around for a while because of the green card. Have you heard this?
Because of the green card, yes. Basically, like they like their relationship was put together by the church because he needed a green card, and she's very religious, and his managers were like, "Great, this will work." But I think they have a baby together.
Right. I mean, it's clear at this point. Everyone thought he was going to break up with her at the 5-year mark, which would have been 2023, I think. He isn't broken up with
7-year itch. That's right now.
So Kate's got a different conspiracy that they're just going to end it.
No, I mean, the internet is saying that they're like currently broken up because anyway, they're like,
he's got some like drug stuff going on, people think now,
that's the theory. The theory is like he's off his rocker. He keeps Hailey keeps unfollowing him on Instagram, but then like Hailey will be like, no, that was just a glitch. And I'm like, what glitch keeps happening that you guys unfollow and follow each other a lot? I don't know. But did you listen to like Selena's songs are about them. So it could be causing
he was dating her. So the evidence I have is he was dating her dating Selena 2 months before he got engaged to Hailey, which I don't know if you remember that. It was all very fast, him
Do
and
I
Hailey.
remember? I am a tried and true Selena Gomez fan. Yes, of course.
I knew you would say that. So we were all very like distraught that he went with
Yeah.
Hailey. Then there's a Drake song where Justin, I don't think he sings in it, but he is the actor in the music video for the Drake song. And there's a line in it that Drake puts in his song called Pop Star that basically goes, Ariana, Selena, my visa. And so my visa is Hailey. Basically, it's the metaphor for Hailey. Like those are the women that he's dated in his life.
I see.
So there's that everyone thinks. People also said that TMZ reported that he was running to the courthouse to renew his citizenship, like before they went on the honeymoon. Like so they got married and then he went to the courthouse.
Wow.
And then the other thing is that he did have a visa that he was working off of, which gives artists or people who have like unique talent time to stay in the US. But he couldn't redo that visa because he had a bunch of legal issues. He like got a DUI, he had like drug possession. So there.
And Selena wouldn't just marry. I'm sure he like asked Selena first. She wouldn't marry him for the visa. So he asked Hailey.
And then he asked Hailey. But they haven't broken up. So that would be the kicker, right? Is that, if you just were doing it for your green card.
I mean, it's not a life I would sign up for. Like to be Hailey, like he sounds like he's just, those child stars never end up well.
No, and it seems like he's kind of gone in the deep end recently. There's all these videos of Hailey, and she's trying to clearly like nuzzle with him or cuddle with him, and he like won't give her the time of day, right? Like he just like looks in the opposite direction or whatever.
Yeah. Have you seen his Instagram? It's like his Instagram stories are like weirdly unhinged. They're just like a whole bunch of memes and stuff. Like it's like maybe he's an artist and I don't understand, but it seems very manic.
Well, maybe, Kate, you're seeing the first of the unraveling of Justin Bieber.
These are good conspiracy theories, though.
Yeah, I know, right? Very pop culture.
Yeah.
All right, Kate. Well, that is it.
That was great stuff. I'll have to come up with new conspiracy theories next week.
Yeah. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks so much for joining, and can't wait for Southern Charm second part reunion tonight.
Woo woo.
Bye, Kate.